Hi everyone, welcome back to Mama's Orchids. This is Cymbidium Aloifolium. It is an southeastern Asian orchid. It is a very warm weather loving orchid, and it prefers very bright light to direct sunlight, in fact. Here's the plant. The structure of the leaf is, since it's a strappy leaf, and it's actually very tough. It's not very succulent at all. It's very fibrous, so that tells you that it is very heat tolerant, and surprisingly very cold tolerant as well. This plant can be left out in full morning sun and some of afternoon sun. In fact, if it's not in the heat of peak summer season, it would be okay. And as far as the cold temperature is concerned, it also is very cold tolerant. It can endure down to 40 degree Fahrenheit weather. I have also left it out in 30-degree weather, and it has survived. It does have some leaf burns when it's gone through that sort of extreme cold temperature, but however it still survives in that cold of weather. It's not a very neat looking plant because I need to clean it up. I probably can use a repot. In fact, lost a lot of media. I had it in fine fir bark or archaea bark, I think, and maybe a mix of charcoal in there. But somehow I lost a lot of it. It might be from rain or just falling down. But it needs you can pull some of these old pseudobulbs off. And it's natural. It's natural for some of the pseudobulbs to die off. So let me show you the size or the length of the spike, and that's not a very long spike at all. This is a foot long ruler, and this is not very long spike. This is probably a little bit less than average. It's not well cared for plant right now. So it doesn't show its full potential. It has it could use some feeding, which it doesn't get very often because it's one of those orchids you don't have to do much to it and it survives. So, but if you do give it some food and care, it can show some pretty blooms. Here's a close-up of the flower. So I believe there is a yellow, excuse me, I've got a sore throat. I believe it has a yellow variety, an alba one, I guess it's called. But let's go over to the computer and find out some more detail about this Cymbidium Aloifolium. I'm going to cut off the camera for a second here. So I'm on a website that is called orchids.fandom.com, and there is this little blurb about it. I found it useful. So it says the aloifolium is found in deciduous forest, in tree trunks and branches, mossy rocks, and rotting wood, and leaf litter of open areas with partial shade. Excuse me. So the plant is found in low elevation of 0 to as high as 1,500 meters in Guangdong, Hong Kong, China. and it's also in Bangladesh, and it's more known, I believe, in Southeast Asia countries, such as Vietnam and Thailand and Laos, Cambodia, I believe. And so it's listed all these areas that it can be found. So I think this orchid is probably very readily available. So there's nothing special about it, but maybe in and I believe it's readily available in the States too. I've seen several people have it. So all right, I've had this orchid since 2005, and I believe I got it at a yard sale. I'm going to show you some old pictures of the bloom spikes. It's it had. Let me find a 2005 one for you. So this one, I have two of the plants actually. This is the larger of the other two. The one I just filmed earlier. Let me go back here. Okay. So this is the smaller plant. And yes, I have a bigger one than this one. This one seems like it's fairly big already, but it's grown quite a bit. But the other one is in a much bigger pot. This is the other one. It's more, it gives me a little more bloom, but I haven't filmed the bigger one yet recently because it's not in bloom. But this is from 2005, and it's really beautiful. Lots of spikes on there. It tends to be pendant, drooping down. The flowers are drooping down. Although one year I tried to stake it up, and I'll show you that picture in a second. All right, so that's the larger one. Here's another photo of the larger one. Okay. And I believe this is a photo of the smaller one years ago, 2005, also when it was blooming. Okay, now this one year I had it, this is a larger one in 2015, I believe, or 14. It had quite a bit of bloom also. So you had one, and it's much longer, as you can see, that's why I call it the larger one. This bloom spike goes pretty long. Sorry about this filming, it's not the greatest. All right, let me see. And so the one year I also spiked it up, and this is the larger one also. So I put spikes up to hold it up one year just to try it out and see what it would look like. And you know, I think I like the drooping down better, the pendant drooping down style better. So, but I just thought I'd try it one year. And as far as longevity, the blooms have lasted for me about 2 weeks. I don't think I've had any that has lasted longer. However, throughout the summer, it would spike many times. So, so it would bloom often, but not long. All right, so here is another one. And I repotted it one year. This is 2017, I believe. And there's a bloom spike from back then. This is the larger one. The larger Cymbidium that I had. Let me see if I can find any more pictures. I think that's it. Yeah. So what's neat about this plant is that, oh, well, let me go through the fragrance first. There is no fragrance. I don't smell any fragrance. However, I've noticed that bees tend to like it. I don't know if it has some sort of nectar or sugar. that attracts bees to with them. But they tend to, I notice bees tend to be around them. There isn't any sap. I don't think there's any sap. Once in a while I'll see the, the happy juice on it, but no particular sap. Okay. I want to go back to the website that tells us more about that orchid. So the aloifolium, the Cymbidium Aloifolium, I want to also tell you about one little thing that I've noticed, that people tend to confuse the aloifolium with the dianum, okay? And see the word dianum. And this website luckily pointed out too. So the difference in this one and the dianum is that the species flowers can be easily confused with dianum, but differs by having a rounded lip edge and an hourglass shaped in the center of the lip. So I think the dianum is a little fuller, rounder. The plant blooms in winter to early spring. The species is similar to the Cymbidium bicolor. Okay, so let me see if it has a picture of the dianum for us to take a look. And yep, it sure does. And there it is. So, and I do believe it's different from it. So there's the dianum. I'm going to bring you to mine, which is the aloifolium. And see how it's different. The wetness you see on there is just rainwater. I just brought it in from the outside. Okay, so see how the lip, and also the color is slightly different in this case. Okay. As far as care, again, I need lots of sun. It takes heat, lots of heat. It's from Southeast Asia, so it's one of those that can tolerate the heat. And let me see if I can show you where the spike comes from. So if those of you have it, would like to know where to look for the spike. It's at the base of the plant, and let me see if I can zoom in. And there it is. And it comes with this covering. I don't know if you can see that. You see how that covering is on there? And it's pretty thick. You can see that? The covering is pretty thick. Okay. And once in a while, like I said, you just have to clean up the old bulbs. Pull it out, pull it apart. It's probably harboring something in there right now, actually. Yeah, I probably definitely need to clean that off and get some alcohol and spray that. But this guy is tough. It's very disease resistant. Not many things can kill this thing, so it's considered the weed of the orchids, probably. All right, next time the big one is blooming, I need to film that because the other one is more of a show with all its bloom spike. But this one, believe it or not, it's the smaller one. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.